आज अपने आप को ठगा हुआ पाता है जब वो नंगे पांव परिवार के साथ सड़क पर चल, पांव में घाव लिए, राहत की उम्मीद लिए सरकार की ओर देखता हुआ जा रहा था, पर प्रधानमंत्री जी और वित्त मंत्री जी ने उसे कुछ नहीं दिया। यही हाल देश के अन्नदाता किसान का हुआ। एक तरफ बेमौसमी बारिश की मार से फसल नष्ट हो गई और दूसरी तरफ न्यूनतम समर्थन मूल्य मिल नहीं रहा। उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, राजस्थान, पंजाब, हरियाणा, महाराष्ट्र, हर किसान की एक ही कहानी है, पर उस किसान के लिए भी आज के राहत पैकेज के अंदर एक फूटी कोड़ी न मिल पाई। यही नहीं, जो 13 करोड़ देश के सबसे गरीब लोग हैं, प्रोफेसर पिकेटी, जिनकी चर्चा आदरणीय चिदंबरम साहब ने की और कहा कि सबसे पहली प्राथमिकता देश की आज उनके खाते और जेब के अंदर पैसा पहुंचाना था, वो 13 करोड़ गरीब भी देश के प्रधानमंत्री और वित्त मंत्री की ओर देखते रह गए और एक फूटी कोड़ी भारत सरकार के राजकोष से उनके खाते में नहीं पहुंच पाई। हमारे जो सूक्ष्म, मध्यम और लघु उद्योग हैं, उनकी संख्या लगभग 6 करोड़ 30 लाख है। 45 लाख छोटे उद्योगों को जो राहत दी गई उसका तो स्वागत किया है चिदंबरम साहब ने और कांग्रेस पार्टी ने, पर 6 करोड़ 30 लाख में से क्या केवल 45 लाख एमएसएमईज यानी छोटे, लघु और मध्यम उद्योगों को राहत देने से काम चल पाएगा? और बाकी उद्योगों का क्या होगा? और उन 11 करोड़ लोगों का क्या होगा जिनकी तनख्वाह अब 2 से 3 महीने से नहीं मिली, क्योंकि इस राहत पैकेज में उन 11 करोड़ कर्मियों की चर्चा तक नहीं की गई। अगली बात जो आदरणीय चिदंबरम साहब ने कही पार्टी की ओर से कि ये पूरी घोषणा लिक्विडिटी मेजर्स तो हैं, यानी कर्जा देने की एक लाइन तो आपने दी, पर फिस्कल स्टिमुलस कहां है? यानी जनता की जेब में पैसा डालने का प्रावधान कहां है? इस पूरे पैकेज में आम जनमानस या छोटी इकाइयों को सीधा 1 रुपया हासिल नहीं होगा, तो ऐसे में उनको गति और प्रगति कैसे प्रदान हो पाएगी? देश गति और प्रगति पैकेज की इंतजार में था। इस सारे पैकेज को मिलाकर जैसा चिदंबरम साहब ने बताया, ये लगभग 3,60,3,70,000 करोड़ का लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूजन पैकेज है, फिस्कल स्टिमुलस पैकेज है ही नहीं। तो बाकी का 16,30,000 करोड़ रुपया 20 लाख करोड़ के आर्थिक पैकेज में से कहां है? इसका कोई जवाब नहीं दिया गया। स्वाभाविक तौर से देश का गरीब, देश का श्रमिक, देश का कामगार, देश का किसान, देश का मध्यम वर्गीय व्यक्ति, देश के नौकरी पेशा लोग और देश के एमएसएमई उद्योग, वो सब आज अपने आप को इस घोषणा को सुनकर निराशा के माहौल में पा रहे हैं। एक बार फिर मोदी सरकार ने देश के साधारण व्यक्ति को घोर तरीके से निराश किया है। धन्यवाद। आप कोई प्रश्न पूछना चाहें तो चिदंबरम साहब से पूछ सकते हैं।
पहला रिक्वेस्ट सर, इट इज फ्रॉम आनंद पटेल फ्रॉम हेडलाइंस टुडे। आनंद, प्लीज कम इन।
It's India Today, Pranavji now.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
So my question is about the 4 L's which the Prime Minister spelled out yesterday, sir. He said that the land, liquidity, labor, and laws will be forming the core of the stimulus package. We've already seen some kind of movement in terms of the labor reforms in states like UP, MP, Gujarat, and also Tripura is being talked about. Do you think that it has already started the kind of labor reforms which the Prime Minister was talking about? And do you think the timing is correct at a time when the migrant laborers are suffering so much?
Yeah. Now, nothing in today's announcement touches upon labor land except to some extent on liquidity. Now, as far as labor reforms, so-called labor reforms announced by UP, Madhya Pradesh, the BJP ruled states, I want to point out that the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh has opposed it. These are laws on the concurrent list, and they cannot be implemented without the concurrence of the central government. There is no clarity yet whether the central government will approve the amendments proposed by these BJP ruled states. Besides, drastic changes in labor laws that have existed since, say, 1948 or so, ought not to be done in a crisis situation. They should be done when normalcy returns after consulting all stakeholders, particularly the trade unions, as well as the unorganized sector. This is the wrong time to do it. This is the wrong precedent set by the BJP states. But I will reserve my final comment until I know what the central government intends to do. These are not effective today. As far as land is concerned, and as far as laws are concerned, the finance minister said nothing about land or laws. She only mentioned one or two items relating to liquidity, but as Randeep pointed out, and I pointed out in my opening statement, liquidity support measures are never counted in a fiscal stimulus package. Liquidity measures operate on the supply side. Fiscal measures operate on the demand side. At the moment, the problem is the demand side, and the only way the demand side can be addressed is by putting money in the hands of the poor and the deprived.
Thank you, sir. Sunil wants to ask. Sunil Prabhu from NDTV, please come in.
Good evening, sir. I just wanted to check with you on the fiscal deficit, where, because you have been, fiscal discipliner in your terms as finance minister, the government now is with its extra upon 5 fiscal rough. Do you kind of fiscal, or should this?
Your audio is not continuous.
Sunil, we can't hear you. Perhaps you should try again. Yeah.
I heard the first part.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So do you think the fiscal deficit should be given a go by?
I think so. This is not a time to worry too much about the fiscal deficit. The additional borrowing that the government announced on May 8 will anyway take the fiscal deficit to about 5.3 or 5.4%, assuming that the GDP remains constant. The GDP will decline, and therefore the fiscal deficit will even go up. And if the fiscal deficit reaches a point where it becomes worrying for other reasons, the answer is to monetize part of the fiscal deficit. These have been recommended by a number of eminent economists, and the Congress party supports more borrowing, both by center and states, not to be prisoner of the fiscal deficit, and to take as a last resort, recourse to monetizing part of the fiscal deficit. Even a most conservative central banker like Dr. Rangarajan has supported monetizing a part of the fiscal deficit.
Thank you, sir. अगला सवाल मोहित दुबे न्यूज नेशन से पूछना चाहते हैं. मोहित पूछिए.
Mr. Chidambaram, good evening.
Good evening.
सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि मोदी गवर्नमेंट ने 20 लाख करोड़ का पैकेज ऐलान किया, बट आप खुश नहीं है, यू आर नॉट हैप्पी. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर आप वित्त मंत्री होते तो इस कोरोना क्राइसिस में, महामारी में, क्या आप सबसे पहले कदम उठाते ताकि लोगों को राहत मिलता?
See, these are hypothetical questions, but we've already explained what needs to be done. The first thing that needs to be done is to put money in the hands of every family in the bottom half of the population. At 5,000 rupees a family, it will cost you 65,000 crore. At 7,500 rupees per family, it will cost you 97,500 crore. Less than a lakh crore. That is the first thing you should do. Many migrant workers' families will be covered under this, but those who are not covered must find another way to put money in their hands. That is the first thing that should be done. You don't do that. And you allow migrants to be pushed into indebtedness and now destitution, now devastation. They're walking back to their homes without food, without money, without a job, without hope. And what do they say? We'd rather go home and die rather than die here. That is the first thing we should do. The second is sectorally, underline, sectorally address the issue and provide fiscal support. What does airline industry require? What does automobile industry require? What do MSMEs require? What does the leather industry require? What do exports require? Sectorally, the problems are different. Sectorally, the needs are different. We would address it. Congress government will address it sectorally and come up with sector-specific proposals. Anyway, we could go on, but that's really not the point. We are really commenting on the finance minister's statement, not outlining our program.
We will move to the next question. Samya from Times Now wants to ask, is it on suo motu, Samya?
Yes. So,
okay, go ahead.
Ask about what do you think is any benefit for the middle class by and large, because what we are hearing as responses coming out after listening to the finance minister is that the middle class feels entrapped, saying there is not much of a relief for them, sir. How do you read the finance minister's statement vis-a-vis from the point of view of the middle class?
There is nothing in today's announcement for the middle class. I assume when you say middle class, you are referring to the tax-paying middle class as well as the non-tax-paying middle class, which means people who have an income of about, say, 2.5, 3 lakhs a year to about 10 lakhs a year. Now, for them, there's nothing. TDS has been reduced, but that's only a deferment of tax liability. It's a liquidity measure. It's not a fiscal measure. The date of filing has been extended. That is a regulatory measure. So apart from a couple of liquidity measures and regulatory measures, there is no fiscal support for the middle class. And I'm not surprised when the government is not willing to lend fiscal financial support to the poorest classes, including the migrant workers. How do you expect this government to provide fiscal financial support to the middle class? They have forgotten the poorest classes completely, and they are on the way to forgetting the middle class also.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to the next one. Raman from News 24. Raman ji, पूछिए.
सर, आज कल प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने अपने देश के नाम संबोधन में बार-बार ये कहा कि आत्मनिर्भर, मतलब भारत अपने पैरों पर कैसे खड़े हो। आज की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में भी आत्मनिर्भर भारत का जिक्र किया निर्मला सीतारमण ने। लेकिन जो माइग्रेंट लेबरर्स हैं या जो किसान हैं, उनको बिना मदद किए हुए क्या ये संभव है?
I understand the question to mean, what is your comment on this Atma Nirbhar, self-reliance? Now, nobody opposes self-reliance, but a self-reliant nation, a self-reliant economy will depend upon whether their farmers are reasonably self-reliant and self-sufficient, whether the working class is reasonably self-reliant and self-sufficient. Today, what we see before us is the farmers have been left to fend for themselves, as Randeep pointed out. Farmers across many states have lost their produce for many reasons. Procurement is slow. Procurement price is not being given to everyone. On some pretext or other, deductions are made. And the cost of inputs has not been reduced. Cost of fertilizer, pesticide, electricity not being reduced. The farmers have been left to fend for themselves. The PM Kisan applies only to 8.2 crore landlord farmers. The tenant farmers and the landless agricultural laborers of the farm have been left to fend for themselves. And I won't repeat myself, the working class, especially the poorest working class, has been left to fend for itself. If these sections, which make up about 60% or 65% of India's population, are not reasonably self-reliant and self-sufficient, what is the use of this slogan and what is the use of this hashtag? These are publicity-oriented measures. How many hashtags does this government come up with in the last 6 years? You count them, it'll probably run to hundreds. This hashtag also will be forgotten in a couple of months, and there will be a new hashtag.
Thank you, sir. Sandeep Fukan from The Hindu wants to ask a question. Sandeep, please come in.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. I just wanted to know, what is your take on these measures? Will they create demand? Do you think that you said that you will refrain from commenting on liquidity measures, but some would say that that will go a long way in terms of creating demand. Do you think that these measures are good enough to create demand in the immediate run?
I have not heard of anyone arguing that liquidity measures will operate on the demand side. Fiscal measures operate on the demand side. Liquidity measures operate on the supply side. We could go into the liquidity measures of RBI. What is the net result? The net result is outstanding credit on March 27 and outstanding credit today. It is declined by 1 lakh crore. And of the additional liquidity infused by RBI, the banks have parked back in the RBI almost 8.14 lakh crore today. The liquidity measures don't operate on the demand side. If there is demand, then the supply side will come into play. There is no demand today. Therefore, fiscal measures alone will operate on the demand side. And as I've said, except for the modest package of MSMEs, which really applies only to about 45 lakh MSMEs and leaves out the bulk of the 6.3 crore MSMEs, I don't find anything in this package today that will stimulate the demand side of the economy.
Thank you, sir. Next question, Mosmi wants to ask from Aastak. Mosmi, please come in.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Right, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask you a question which is a part of the larger global debate that is raging as far as lives versus livelihood is concerned. So how much of opening of the economy is worth one life saved? Because is the government really going into an unknown territory with the people just reduced to a laboratory where the experimentation is going on vis-a-vis the risk that they're putting the public to?
You see, this binary is wrong. And I want you to kindly disabuse yourself. There is a contradiction between the goals of life and the goals of livelihood. Both are intertwined. There cannot be life without livelihood. There cannot be livelihood without life. We must protect lives. We have taken a number of measures to expand our medical and health infrastructure, and we have kept the fatality ratio pretty low, about 3.3%. 3.3 is bad, but compared to the other countries, it's a reasonable achievement. Those who are ill or those who are infected will be treated. And I sincerely hope that lives will not be lost. But in the meanwhile, millions of people have been reduced to destitution. You saw pregnant women, children, disabled people walking miles and kilometers to their homes without food, without water, without medicine, without milk for their children, children bawling. And they say, if we are going to die, let's die here. Let's die in our homes. There is no contradiction between life and livelihood. Government says it needed time to prepare the medical and health infrastructure. They have had now 29 plus 17 plus another 14 days on May 17. That is enough. Now they have to modulate the zoning and the restrictions and the relaxations. And after modulating it, they have to start economic life again. People have to live. People have to earn a livelihood. And that is what I think the Prime Minister hinted. I don't want to anticipate what lockdown 4.0 will be like, but I do sincerely hope that they will take the Congress Party's advice and say, that while the broad contours will be laid down by the central government, the actual restrictions and the actual relaxations will be decided by the state government. And economic life has to start.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have got a couple of requests sent in, sir. This is from Business Standard. Archis wants to know, it's a two-part question. He begins by asking, is the government endangering capital and debt market by putting most of the burden of the package on them? And does the arithmetic of rupees 20 lakh crore add up? It seems the package might not even amount to rupees 12 lakh crore. Your comment, sir.
My calculation is, as of today, the package adds up in a generous estimate to about 3.4 lakh or 3.5 lakh crore. I'm taking a very generous estimate, counting the entire MSME package as if it is an outgo. But unless I see money transferred to the poor, unless I see
I think the connection has dropped.
Yeah.
Well,
Got disconnected.
No problem. We will wait, but I'll take the question in the meanwhile. Can you please repeat the question, and I'll carry forward the question from where Chidambaram Saab left.
Ji, sir. Yeah,
Please,
he's coming, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, you can go ahead, sir. It just dropped.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
sir, we can hear.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Is there any other question, or have I completed the answer to your question, or do you want anything more?
I think we are good. Please ask the next question.
Yes, we'll move to the next question, sir. This is from Outlook. Nicholas wants to ask this, that the finance minister repeatedly stressed on the earlier 1.7 lakh crore Garib Kalyan package to say cash transfer, ration, cylinder, etc. have been made to the poor. We continue to seek lakhs of migrants. We continue to see lakhs of migrants stranded without food or money. Is the government refusing to even acknowledge that there is an ongoing nearly 50-day-long migrant crisis in this country?
Yes. Government is refusing to acknowledge there is a huge humanitarian crisis, something which India has not seen since 1948. This is the biggest human and humanitarian crisis that India has faced. Government refuses to acknowledge it. Now, for some reason, and I'm willing to give the benefit of doubt to the FM, FM did not include the 1.7 lakh crore package in the 20 lakh crore. She mentioned it in her prefatory statements. I hope she doesn't include it.
Sure.
Includes it, that will become a subject of another debate. As I pointed out earlier, the 1.7 lakh crore is actually worth only 1 lakh crore. 60,000 rupees in crore rupees in terms of cash transfer, and 40,000 crore rupees in terms of grain transfer. That's effectively worth only 1 lakh crore. If she wants to include it in the 20 lakh, we will include it. But I sincerely hope she won't.
Thank you, sir. Niyamika wanted to ask a question. Back onto the floor. Niyamika, please come in.
Good evening, sir. In today's press conference, FM has changed the definition for MSMEs and also raised the investment limit for these. While applauding for the move, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has said that the foundation has been laid for new MSME sector at the core of our future self-reliant economy. Your comments over that, sir, do you believe that these measures announced are sufficient enough to empower MSME sector which have got adversely affected by this pandemic?
MSME definitions were long overdue to be changed. These have been in the works for several years. So broadly, I welcome the change of definition of MSMEs, but I have to read the fine print and the details before we finally conclude whether it is largely beneficial or there are some glitches. But I broadly welcome the liberalization of the limits of MSMEs, because having regard to the passage of time and inflation and scale and the terms of production today, the MSME definitions deserve to be changed.
Preeti from Sahara TV wanted to ask a question. Preeti, please ask me. Priti, are you there?
Hello.
Meenakshi.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, sir, the finance minister basically gave relaxation to all constructions ongoing, be it the government ones or the private ones controlled by RERA. How do you see this? Because there is no relaxation for the middle class people who are basically paying the EMIs of the loans. And so far, the relaxation they have received is till June 30th only. And basically, that will be extended later on. So how do you see this, the relaxation for 6 months for all the projects?
Well, there are two different issues. The contractor's work has been suspended or stopped. Therefore, there's no harm in extending all contracts by 6 months. Anyway, they have to be extended. If 3 or 4 months are lost, they have to be extended. I think what the government is doing, that's what I understood what the FM said, that they're issuing an advisory that all government contracts will be automatically extended by 6 months. But in private contracts, I doubt whether an advisory is sufficient. I'm not even sure whether it is wise to interfere in private contracts. That should be left to negotiations between the contracting parties. But if you want to interfere in private contracts, you can't do it by an advisory. You can do it only by legislation. But as far as government contracts is concerned, is one contracting party, namely the government organization, is willing to extend the contract by 6 months, so be it. I don't find anything wrong there.
Thank you, sir. Meenakshi from Sanmarg wants to ask a question. Meenakshi.
Sir, namaskar. Meenakshi Bhattacharya from Sanmarg, Kolkata. Sir, our senior citizen of our country, they are the pillar of our country. In Prime Minister and FM's address, there is nowhere address to the senior citizen at all. Rather, their DA also from pension card deducted, their rate of interest from savings also deducted, and they are not, most of them, a lot of them are not getting rent also to survive themselves. So what is your reaction?
The Congress party has already reacted and said that we totally disapprove of the reduction of deficit rates, reduction of interest rates on PPF, etc., etc. This is a hard blow in difficult times. Even in normal times, to take a decision of this kind requires great deliberation and consultation. You certainly can't do all these things in difficult times. Hitting at the stomach, hitting at the belly of the vulnerable citizens, and senior citizens are perhaps the most vulnerable. We have totally disapproved of these reductions.
Pranav, can we wind up now?
Yeah, sir. I think Rahul Mishra is the last question that he's requesting.
Okay. Thank you.
Rahul.
Thanks,
unmute yourself.
It's unmute.
Yes.
In the past month or so, following the Congress, I have got a point here that Congress party has time and again asked the government to energize the institutions built in the past 20 years to help fight this COVID. To name few are the NREGA, Food for All. Even today, there was a call for to rope in Shiksha Mitra, Asha Behne, Anganwadi programs. Do you think government is giving any heed to this advice, or they are just ignoring what you are saying, that these are the institutions that can actually play a very critical role at the time?
These institutions can play a critical role. It is because these institutions are operative and working that you have some successful examples in the battle against COVID in Kerala. But these institutions are all under the domain of these state governments, and state governments are bankrupt today. The central government doesn't give them grants and aid. It delays the GST share. It doesn't allow them to borrow more. They have cut wages for their employees. They have frozen the DA and the DNS relief. They are practically broke. And when Chief Minister after Chief Minister pleads with the Prime Minister, give us money, the Prime Minister doesn't respond. He didn't respond yesterday to that call. The Finance Minister didn't say a word about it today. And I pointed out in my opening statement, you must allow states to borrow more. You must allow states to spend more, for which they must borrow more. They have reached the limit of 3% in the FRBM. It has to be relaxed at least to 4 and maybe 4.5%. 4% up to relaxation up to 4% will allow the states altogether to borrow an additional 2 lakh crore. That will go a long way to, say, energize the Maganrega program. For example, I know while Maganrega is allowed under the MHA's notification, there's no Maganrega work in practically any district of the country. I know in Tamil Nadu, there's no Maganrega work in my own district.
Thank you.
So another request which has come in writing, a friend from Go News, Ajay, wants to ask, PM spoke about vocal versus local. Is it shift of strategy in post-COVID era? Is wants your reaction, sir?
These are plays of word, and I compliment the PM on playing on the words vocal and local. Obviously, if locally manufactured goods is of acceptable quality and good quality, available at a reasonable price, people will patronize the local product. There are many, many products in India which may bear foreign brand names, but they are 100% local products. The ingredients are local, the manufacturing is local, the workers are local, the capital is also local. Just because it bears a foreign brand name like Colgate or Horlicks, it doesn't become a foreign product. It is still a local product. Therefore, people are buying Colgate, people are buying Horlicks, people are buying Vicks. So why do you say that we are not patronizing local products at all? We are patronizing local products. Don't mix up the foreign sounding brand name with the fact that the products are entirely local.
Thank you, sir. Radeep, sir, I still see requests coming in. Log second round of सवाल पूछना चाह रहे हैं.
I think Chidambaram Saab has extensively dealt with various facets. Of course, our friends have lots of questions. I'm sure we'll say a whole lot of other things, and Chidambaram Saab and the Congress party is here to answer all your questions. I take this opportunity to thank the former finance minister and the senior leader of the party, Shri P. Chidambaram, for being here and addressing this press conference on such a short notice, and showing the mirror of truth to a party of acronyms which wants to run the country not based on sound fiscal stimulus, but based on a set of acronyms which can never be true. Thank you, sir, and thank you to all our journalist friends.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.